Welcome to class tonight. I certainly do hope you're all having a great night. Tonight we are going to be continuing our work with integers. Yesterday we worked on adding integers, and tonight we're going to be focusing on subtracting integers. I honestly believe that adding and subtracting are more difficult than multiplying and dividing, so please take good notes, and as questions come up, ask them please, especially when you get to class, or if you have a question tonight you can go ahead and email me. To start out, I want to make the statement that will guide the rest of the lesson. The statement you see on the very top of your screen right there. The statement is to subtract integers, add the opposite. That's all you're doing. Adding the opposite. Now, as we worked through our TCAP lessons, I especially focused on this idea. So hopefully this is not new to you. But let's go ahead and practice it very quickly. First example, 4 minus 1. I see a subtraction sign. When I see a subtraction sign, I should automatically think, add the opposite. Well, the opposite of positive 1 is going to be 4 plus a negative 1. Okay? So you see how this is the opposite? I have 4 minus 1, 4 plus a negative 1. Okay? Now it's still saying the exact same idea, it's still saying basically the same thing, only it looks a little different. So it's going to look like this. We're going to start 1, 2, 3, so that's 4. Now we're going to add a negative 1. Okay, so negative 1 is going to take us back this way here, so we're going to be at 3. So 4 minus 1, or 4 plus a negative 1, equals 3. Makes a lot of sense. Let's go and do another one. Now this one, you can see this is a little more complicated, but if we use our rule, adding the opposite, if we use that, we can solve it very quickly. Now I see minus a negative 1. Well, negative 1, the opposite of a negative 1 is going to be positive 1. So 4 minus negative 1 is going to be the same thing as 4 plus 1. Because once again, I am adding the opposite. So in this case right here, I'm going to take my 4, so 4 is right here, and I'm going to add 1. And so the answer is going to be 5. Okay? So you see how I just simply added the opposite. Now, because this is a little bit bigger deal, let's do one more just to make sure we have this down. 3 minus a negative 5. Well, minus negative 5, I think add the opposite. Well, the opposite of a negative 5 is simply going to be positive 5. So it's going to be 3 plus 5. And 3 plus 5 is simply 8. And I can see I can use my number line for that as well. So I'm at 3, and then plus 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 8. Okay, so you see I use my number line for that. Alright, so that is the basics. Now let's do 3 more just to make sure we have this idea down pat. Now, 9 minus a negative 3, same thing, 9 plus 3 is going to be 12. Okay, positive 12, adding the opposite. Now, this one, I put this one in because this is more difficult. I have a negative 6 minus a negative 2. Now, when we subtract, we add the opposite. So right here, minus a negative 2, that's going to be plus 2, because I'm adding the opposite. Opposite of negative 2 is going to be positive 2. So I'm going to have negative 6 plus a positive 2. Now, if you want to put this on the number line, it'll look something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's negative 6, and I'm adding 2. So I'm going to head this way 2 to negative 4. So the answer is negative 4. Okay? Now, I want to slow down, make sure we understand this, because this is a big deal. Okay? You see I kept my negative 6 here, but I took my minus a negative 2 and made that plus 2, and so I got negative 4. All right, one last one for this side of the issue. Negative 3 minus 5. Okay? Well, in this case, I have negative 3. That's going to stay the same, but I'm going to be adding the opposite. So the opposite of a positive 5 is negative 5. So I'm going to be adding a negative 5. So there we go. So negative 3 plus a negative 5 is going to be negative 8. Okay? So you see how I simply, to subtract, I simply add the opposites. All right, now we can also take this idea of subtracting positive and negative integers. Subtracting them, we can make it into actually real life applications. This is a real life application problem. So the question says, the research submarine Alvin was at 1,500 feet below sea level. So it's below sea level, so it's going to be negative 1,500. Then it moved to 1,872 feet below sea level, or negative 1,872. How many feet did Alvin descend? So we're going to have to do it like this. So I have negative 1,872 minus a negative 1,500. Okay? So you see minus a negative, so I'm going to add the opposite. So it's going to be minus 1,872 plus 1,500. Okay, you see how I added the opposite. The opposite of a negative 1,500 is going to be positive 1,500. So the answer, so you 8,000, well, so you have negative 8,072, or negative 1,872 plus a positive 1,500. The answer is going to be a negative 372. Okay? So the answer is, how many feet did Alvin descend? He descended negative 372 feet. All right, and our final objective for tonight. The book strongly encourages, and I completely agree with this, the understanding of algebra, or the application of algebra to all these different problems. So we're going to be solving some algebra with integers, okay, with positive and negative integers. So let's go ahead and start off the first one. T plus 9 equals 5. Now remember, in algebra, to get the objective is to get the variable by itself. And the way we do that is to do the opposite. Okay, so in this case, t plus 9, that's a t, not a plus. Let me erase that, make it a little more clear. There we go. All right, so t plus 9 minus 9 equals 5 minus 9. Okay, so you see how I plus 9 minus 9, that's going to cancel each other out, so I'm left with my t over here. Now 5 minus 9 is actually going to be a negative 4. Okay, 5, go back 9, is going to be negative 4. So the answer is going to be t equals negative 4. Now this next one, c minus 15 equals a negative 5. Now this, we're going to do the opposite to get c by itself, so it's going to be c minus 15 plus 15 equals negative 5 plus 15. So this is going to cancel each other, cancel out. Minus 15 plus 15, 0. So we're going to be left with c is going to equal, now you have negative 5 plus 15 is going to be 10. Positive 10. So the answer is positive 10. C equals positive 10. All right, and the very last one. B plus 14 equals negative 8. So once again, we're going to do the opposite. So it's going to be b plus 14 minus 14 equals 8 minus 14. So that's going to cancel out. So I'm left with b equals 8 minus 14. So the answer is going to, remember, I'm adding the opposite. So it'd be 8 plus a negative 14. So the answer is going to be negative 6. And there I have. So you can see how I can use my knowledge of adding and subtracting integers to solve algebraic problems. Well, that is the lesson. The key tonight is to remember to always add the opposite. When you're subtracting, add the opposite. Your homework tonight is page 505, 4 through 18 even. Once again, 505, 4 through 18 even. Have a great night, and we'll see you all tomorrow.